Is anyone else a little obsessed with Hip Hop Unit's Monster? I love the funky sound of the track. I love the members' vocals and the way they switch lines in the chorus. I love all the weird sound effects. It's just such a satisfying listen. But in addition to all those amazing musical choices, the lyrics in the song have a lot more going on than you might expect. Each member's line really shows off their own personality and style, and the song as a whole is an interesting step in 17's commentary on celebrity and what it means to be a star. So let's explore the ways in which each member's verse shows a little of their own personality and style. Vernon's verse invites us into the song and encourages us to sort of let our inner monster out. And being your own self, being true to your own self, is a theme that we've seen from 17 before, and definitely from Vernon. In the second half of his lines, he talks about 17's success, and that is also a theme that he's come back to again and again, most recently in their song Fire. So, as we often have before, we see Vernon focused on individuality and success. In Wanu's lines, it's not us that are the monsters, however, it's him. And not surprising for Wanu, he associates himself with some classic monsters like Frankenstein. He is as scary as the sea monster, the Kraken. And then I think these final lines are a reaction to the Michael Jackson song Thriller. So interestingly, Wanu here is the monster. To me, this fits in with Wanu's confidence in his own success. We see this in his lines in Fire, where he's convinced that no matter what had happened, he would be successful in his own way. So now, even when the theme is the monster, he still wants to be the main character of this story. He is the monster. Scoops also associates himself with a monster, in particular a zombie. And I think that's interesting because comparing himself to a zombie gives him a sense of being inescapable and mind-altering, which he emphasizes in his whisper lines. I also think it's worth noting that Scoops is the only one who talks about specific places, and this seems to come from a real sense of pride. We saw in his lines in Fire that he mentions Universe Factory, Uji's studio. We see in his lines in Cheers him talking about where they're from. So for Scoops, this idea that he knows where he came from and he's still successful now seems to be a really important idea. Mingyu's lines mostly focus on his feelings of success and the way it feels to be a celebrity with sunglasses and the right vibes. This matches well with his lines in Fire. Even with all of this, though, it's interesting to note that in the first line, he associates the feeling of being a rock star with the feeling of being a monster. So what then does it mean to be a monster? One of the defining features of a monster, at least the way we see them in most of our media, is that monsters are things that people react to. They are sometimes feared or criticized or seen as misunderstood, but they are always gaining a reaction from people. It's not a monster if it appears on the scene and everyone welcomes it or nobody notices that it's there. And it's this idea that the chorus of the song explores. Along with the success that we heard the hip hop unit discuss in Fire, there is a flip side to that. There is that dark side of celebrity. And that's what the chorus focuses on. Everyone is reacting to 17 and to the hip hop unit. They might be curious about them. They might be outright judging them. They might be trying to devalue their success. But everyone is reacting to 17, just as everyone reacts to a monster. So the song is built around this idea that inherent in celebrity is the fact that people will judge you and you will be seen by some as a monster. In the second half of the chorus, we see the hip hop unit's acceptance of the fact that with their celebrity and their success comes this judgment of them. We see them talking about feeling like a pop star, and I love Coops's sort of challenge. Oh, you don't think we're a big deal? Come see us in concert. So we get in the chorus this understanding that with success comes judgment. I'm not sure if this was a deliberate choice, but for me, especially the first time hearing the song, it was very striking that it's Wanu who is repeating the line, "Everyone calls me monster." Wanu, who made a real mistake as a minor and who has had to face the consequences, the backlash for that, who has apologized for it, and yet who certain corners of the internet refuse to accept that apology. And here we have Wanu repeatedly saying, "Everyone calls me a monster." So this idea that with celebrity, you always have people questioning you whether or not you have tried to make amends for the actions that you have taken. In the verses, we not only see the members' individual personalities, but we also see this same theme of monstrosity being part of celebrity. For Mingyu, being a celebrity has the same swag as being a monster. Scoops compares being a celebrity to being a zombie because they also can take your brain and make you go crazy and get away with it too. Wanu compares himself to these famous monsters that we described before because people react to him in the same way. People scream and flail their arms around for monsters, but they also do those things in a concert or reacting to a celebrity. And Vernon's verse takes this idea even a step further. Not only are they celebrities for whom people scream and shout, much like being monsters, but notice that he invites his listeners in as monsters themselves. We as fans throwing our claws up in a concert become monsters in our own way. So Monster as a track is doing a lot of different things here. It shows each member's personality, often quite consistent with the style we've seen from that member before. It also returns to the theme of success, and Hip Hop Unit is often the unit that is sort of carrying the banner for 17's ambition. We see this from their very first song, Aw Yeah. We see it very strongly in Back It Up. In Trauma, we see them look at the pressure and dark side of fame and how isolating it can be. And of course, most recently in Fire, we see them celebrating their success, their teamwork, and their abilities. Monster feels like an evolution of all of these songs together. They are proud of their success. They're flaunting a little bit, feeling like a pop star. But at the same time, the track is very aware of the downsides of fame. However, instead of a song like Trauma, where they are sort of hiding from that and overwhelmed by it, in Monster, they are accepting the downsides of fame. They are willing to allow other people to call them monster. They seem comfortable, even happy with that, because it comes from success, because it comes from their pride and their success. As I talk about in my FML video, not letting yourself be overwhelmed by other people's judgments, staying true to yourself, is a consistent theme in 17's music. And one example that I think is worth pointing out in comparison to Monster is Don Quixote. That song uses the literary reference of Don Quixote to assert that 17 don't accept other people's judgments. They would rather be called crazy than give up what they believe in. And Monster takes this idea even a step further. Not only are they willing to be judged by other people and still keep going, they even welcome it. They're happy to be cast as the monster of the villain because it gains them attention and it shows their success. So Monster feels like a real evolution of the acceptance of judgment that comes with celebrity. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you would like more videos like this focused on a specific song.